Good day to all my business owners out there. This is Napo Gonda from Gonda Legacy Investments, and today we'll be covering the 10 steps to grow your business online. This is just a snippet of our online marketing roadmap, and the way we put together our online marketing roadmap is based off of the things that we've implemented for our clients that have helped them be successful, as well as the right order to do it in order to save you time. So this is the list of the things that we'll be covering today. And we have the online marketing roadmap available for you guys online on our website. And if you guys want us to send us a copy, please just drop a note in the comments and we'll reach out and send it to you. The first step is really defining your brand. And when we talk about your brand, we're not just talking about your logo, right? We're talking about your brand identity as well as your target audience, because we want to make sure that one, you know who you're speaking to, and two, how is your brand perceived out in the market? So on top of the logo, we need to look at what are the other visual elements that we usually put in our messaging. How are we being consistent across all of the different platforms? And as we go from one platform to the next, what is the demographic that we are targeting when we're actually going into that area? And then what is the customer journey that we want to bring these people through? We want to think about the whole experience. And as we are doing this, there's also metrics that we want to make sure that we have in place to ensure that our actions are being effective. So from a branding standpoint, you definitely want to look at your brand search volume, because that should have an impact, because initially when you get started, nobody's going to be looking for you, right? But as you get active and as you start to make more noise, you're going to see your search volume for your brand increase. The next step that's important is your website, because your website is the front door to your business online these days. You want to first look at your domain and the domain name. We don't want anything too long or too complex, because what's going to happen is people are going to misspell it or have challenges just typing it into the browser so that they can make sure that they're coming to your site. The next piece is your hosting. We want to think about where your site is hosting and what services you're going to be signing up for, because if you have bandwidth challenges or things like that, that's going to impact your performance of your website. Poor performing websites are going to upset people. The other thing we need to think about is the platform, right? Because there's GoDaddy, there's Wix, there's Shopify, there's WordPress. Where are you going to host, and which one of those platforms is going to make the most sense for you and your business? So after you've chosen your hosting and your domain, we need to also think about your web design. The key there is the user experience. So when somebody gets to your site, what does that flow look like? What are the steps they need to take to convert? How do they get to the information? Let's make sure that it's easy to use and quick once people get to your website. Nobody wants to do 10 clicks before they get to the content that they were looking for on your site. The other piece we want to make sure that we're doing here is the measurement. And you're going to see on each one of these slides, I do have the metrics that are going to be key to look at to make sure that we're successful in each one of these phases. And we want to make sure at this point is where we're setting that up, right? There's tools like Google Analytics and Search Console, which are free, that you can already implement, which will give you a lot of insight on your website and your content to make sure that things are performing well. The next part that we're going to be covering is SEO. So SEO is short for search engine optimization. So what we want to be doing here is really taking the time to answer the questions that our potential customers have. The way that we do that is we start out first by doing keyword research around our services and our products, because then we can understand how are people searching for the things that we have, and also what are the questions and the challenges that they have around these products or services. Now, once we understand that, then we create content around that. That's why SEO is really synonymous with content marketing, because once you understand the questions that your clients have, and now you answer those, now that's going to bring traffic back to your site, right? And that's really going to help you from an on-page SEO standpoint. The other piece that we need to be thinking about is your site structure. How are you organizing your information? Because that's going to be important in order to make sure that the bots can actually crawl your website properly and understand what is going on your website, so that they can now take that information and make it available to other people who are looking for you online. And the way that we also look at that and see that is on the SERP, which stands for the search engines results page, where what you should be doing is looking at the keywords that you actually want to rank for. Actually search them up on Google and see what the number one, number two, number three position is actually doing, and identify the gaps between what you have on your site and what they have on their site, in order to close the gap to actually help you get better. And then once you actually close the gap, then the question is, what do we do next to surpass them? And as we're doing that, we're going to build up the authority of our site and our content. And because we're going to be creating a good amount of content, we also want to think through, how are we going to distribute this content once it actually gets created? Because a lot of businesses have a bunch of different channels, but we also want to make sure that we're thinking about how we're going to get this out to the masses organically. The next phase of SEO is really thinking about the whole customer journey. So right now here, what we're looking at is the funnel that we like to bring people through, right? And there's a bunch of different steps. So we start out with awareness. So first of all, people need to know you exist, right? Then we go into the next phase, which is consideration, right? Then that's when people are actually thinking about the solution to their problem. The next phase is conversion. That's when people are actually taking actions to help themselves out and solve whatever challenge that they're having. The next phase is loyalty. Loyalty is you as a business owner providing information such as support, manuals, knowledge bases, different types of content that they're going to need to come back to you post purchase. And then advocacy is things like reviews, feedback, or customer stories, right? That now they can actually either post on your site or post on other sites, which is going to create some UGC for you and your business. So the next part of SEO is off page. So off page is things that you can do, such as guest blogging. That's creating content with other people besides just you. So now you're not just worried about, yes, I have X, Y, and Z content on my site, but go out and reach out to people who are in your industry who may also be speaking about some of these same topics. Either you interview them or they interview you, and now you have an opportunity to get in front of different audiences. But now as Google goes through and crawls the content and they see that, oh, now you were mentioned on this particular site using this particular keyword, and now that's linking back to you, that's going to give you credit and a little bit more authority in that space on that subject. The other thing is really building partnerships and relationships. Certain partnerships or even relationships or memberships you can look at are chambers of commerce, right? Connecting with businesses like that or organizations like that that can actually connect you to other business owners actually also helps for SEO, because now your website's going to be listed on their sites and you can get on the other business directories and things like that, which are going to be other signals for the search engines when they're looking and analyzing your site. Last but not least is definitely PR and just public relations in general, getting out in the community, connecting with people. The more active you are offline actually does also help you online. Once we've gotten the organic side of the content down, the next step we're going to move into is AdWords, right? Because now we put fuel behind the research that we've already done for SEO. So The platform is going to be the same because it's going to be either Google, Bing, or Yahoo where people are searching. But now, since people are already searching for us, and now we've already created the messages that'll help answer the problems that they have, we can put dollars behind that. We're going to look for keywords that have high search volume because that tells us that a lot of people are actually looking for these things. But we're also going to look for keywords that have a low cost per click because then it's not going to be as expensive to get that traffic back to your website. So when you're looking at AdWords, especially from the Google side, you can do the regular text ads, you can do PMAX, which pushes ads throughout Google's whole network. You can do display ads, you can do YouTube ads, you can craft those ad campaigns however you want in order to be able to maximize your budget for your business. But like I said, once again, we're going to leverage the learnings and everything that we've gotten from the SEO side and apply it here. And the only difference when we look at the metrics here is really the cost per click, because now we're putting money on the table. Now that we've done organic on our website, we've done paid through Google, the next thing that we see is successful is now going into social content. You could start social already, but the challenge is usually with a lot of businesses when they want to start on social, they usually ask, what am I going to post about? What are we going to say? But the way we've structured this in our roadmap is that they've already done the homework from the SEO standpoint and understand the challenges or the questions that people are asking. So now if you already have, let's say, a post that talks about the benefits of B12 vitamins, right? Now you can take that same content and make that into a carousel on Instagram, right? And you don't have to think about what are you going to post about, right? Now you're leveraging your SEO and the work that you've done there and just bringing it to another channel. The key here now is to select the right platforms to see where your audience is going to be, right? Because if you're doing more B2B, you'll probably lean more towards LinkedIn. If it's a younger crowd, you may be going more towards TikTok or maybe Instagram. So you need to understand where your clients are so that you can target them appropriately, which goes back to what I said at the beginning, is that it's important to understand who we're talking to because it's going to be impactful once we get to the further steps in the roadmap. Now that we've done our organic social content, we're going to do the same thing. You can say rinse and repeat if you want, right? But now we can amplify the message where we've already seen that we're getting engagement. The beauty of it also, once you start to get into the paid side of things, is from a targeting perspective, you can target, let's say, zip codes, countries. You can even target interests, right? So there's a lot of ways that you can really segment and target your audiences in order to make sure that the messages that you're putting dollars behind get out to the right audiences. After we've done that and we already now started paying and putting money behind our social, then the next step that we've seen is successful is going into email marketing. Because at this point, we've already done a lot of work. But throughout the whole time, especially once we build our site, within that, we should be putting ways to already capture emails. So through this whole time, as we're continuing down this roadmap, we're building our email list. You can take that same content and leverage it in email, but now in email, you can add other things like business updates, promotions, industry news. Depends on what it is that you want to get out. But now you also have a captive audience because these people have subscribed to your email list. So now you have the opportunity to get more content to them. The big thing here is also being able to use this to build content because especially let's say if you have an e-commerce site, this is a great time to use email to send out messages to our people to come back to your site to leave reviews, right? And now that's going to show other potential customers how great of a business that you have. The next step that we're going to cover today is infographics and ebooks, right? So basically what we want to do here is really grow through authorship, right? We want to have a nice visual appeal to these infographics or ebooks, right? We want to make sure we have shareability. And the key, we feel that is successful for especially infographics is to take a complex concept, really summarize it and simplify it so people can just scan and really understand the information, right? The other piece of that is also from a ebook standpoint. You want to make it visually appealing. You want to make it so it's a page turner, right? We don't want boring content. We want to make sure that people are able to engage with it, because once they do that, then they're going to download and then they're going to share. And make sure that, especially through PDFs and things like that, that you're including links that'll bring the people back to your website. The next key thing, which is something that we're actually doing right now, is video, right? Because video really brings your message to life, right? It humanizes you. You can do short form content, you can do long form content, you can do content from awareness. There's a plethora of things that you can do when it comes to video, but we put it further down in the funnel or in the roadmap because it's something that takes a lot more time to do. But even when you get started, once again, you want to have topics and ideas and things already thought through before you get started on video. So this is another place where we can leverage what we've done from SEO, content, research, right? We know these are the challenges and these are the things that our clients want answers to. And then now, okay, they may not want to digest it on a blog form. We bring it to video form, right? And we bring it to them where they are. And there's different types of videos. You can do explainer videos, brand stories, demos, testimonials, you name it, you choose. But videos are a great way, one, to humanize your business and to really also build relationships with new potential customers. The other beauty about it is once you have your videos, you can take those and then embed it onto the pages on your website that are related to it. And what that's going to do is going to increase the dwell time. That means people are going to spend more time on your website because instead of just looking at a product, oh, maybe they'll engage with the video if it's 15, 30 seconds. But now Google's going to see that, somebody came to your website, they stayed there for a minute or two instead of just 2 seconds and then bouncing back to look for something else, which means that they're more engaged with your site and engaged with your content. So that's going to help increase your rank. On the flip side now, we want to take those same videos and place them on YouTube, and that's where you're going to have the embedding. And now on YouTube, that's going to be getting signals that people are coming from your website to the videos that you have hosted on YouTube. And now on YouTube, that's going to show them that your video is doing well and it's engaging because you're getting traffic from the outside. So now they're also going to recommend that to other people. The last piece in the roadmap is CRO, which stands for conversion rate optimization, right? Because up to this point, we've done a lot of things. We've put in a lot of things in place, but we want to make sure that we optimize the whole pipeline. We don't just build it, set it, and forget it, right? We want to look at the different steps through the customer journey and where people are getting stuck and where are the challenges. So there's a bunch of different tools that you can put in place to help with CRO. We like Clarity now because it's free. But what we want to do is identify the bottlenecks in the customer journey. So for example, if somebody's getting to the checkout and we're seeing, hey, 80% of people drop out at the checkout, that's a great place to start doing some A/B testing and saying, all right, let's look at this funnel. Okay, let's say if we change this button from red to blue, okay, is that going to be easier for people to go through? Or, hey, maybe we should do a survey here to get some feedback. There's a lot of different things that we can do from a CRO standpoint. But like I said before, we'd like to implement tools that'll give us some insight on what's going on the website so we can even watch videos about what people are doing on your site and then make decisions on how we can tweak it and how we can optimize it. So I know I covered a lot of things today. So if you guys do have any questions, please feel free, drop them in the comments or email us at info@GondaLegacy, and we'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Thank you.